Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I'm not audible, I'm Mekasirika. So I'm Joash Okuto, I'm the CEO of 82 Sports. I take this opportunity to welcome you to this event today. It's a live draw of our Ultimate Cup that will take place at Police Circle from 30th January to 1st Feb. Before I make a very short speech about what 82 is and how our journey has been, I would like them to play a short video, just 1 minute.
Tumefunga akatuibia. Amelipwa. Bado tumempiga. Lakini bado tunawin kama tukianza nilikwambia tutawin.
Mongo tunapiga
na mimi niko ona
Honored to have today. We have the patron of SMARC Foundation, Micheline Ruto. We also have the captain of Ulinzi Stars. Sijui alipandishwa cheo sasa ni captain, real captain. Mushiri is with us. We also have Enos, the family is known as Enos Afume, is the current commercial director of Nairobi United. We have one, Kevin Tea Watebo, is a sports journalist. We have Michael Kinyi. Of course, I know everybody knows Michael Kinyi. We have Jared Kimeto, who is the patron of Jakim Foundation, a very strong partners. We have the coach who won the first edition, that is the Dise. And in the panelists, we also have our representative from 82 Sports that is called Dismas, Jamo Ground. And at the back there, I think Taki Kujulikana, we have the president of Esports Federation of Kenya, Ronnie Lusigi. And all other guests are, I forgot Brian Wesala, who is the founder and CEO of Football Foundation for Africa. And all other guests, the ones that I have not recognized, kindly forgive me, but also I have Oliver. Oliver is the match technical director from Jakim Foundation. Oh, I was going to forget. We have the Miss International, the one Nonini, the greatest. And all other guests that are here, I take this opportunity to welcome you to this event. So 82 Sports is a company based in Nairobi that engages in talent search tournaments within Nairobi, and also the environmental conservation through our rallying call, that is Play for Green Spaces. So in each tournament that we hold, we plant 100 trees. The trees we plant in nearby primary schools. The reason why we chose the primary school is for the trees to be taken care of. Of course, the survival is not 100% because some of the pitches is where we plant the trees. Yeah. And so what we've done is that we've divided Nairobi into 8 regions. And in each region, we look for 8 teams to participate. These teams are fully kitted. All of them get jerseys, everything, including the captain armband and 2 balls. I think high quality balls, branded 82 Sports. And the ultimate winner, that's the reason why we are here. The winners of each edition now competes for the ultimate challenge that happens usually in December, but we've changed the calendar, it will be taking place in January. So time hauna pesa, ndo tunaomosha. So is iko sawa? So apart from talent site tournaments, we also engage in other activities. We are currently the sponsor of the 82 UNSA League. That's an interfaculty league that runs in the University of Nairobi, featuring 11 campuses of the University of Nairobi. Them too, we fully kit the teams, and there is also, it was at 320,000 money that was put into the event. That's after doing all the other kitting and everything. We've also just last week, the 82 team was in Morocco for the esports tournament. It was called eMobile competition. That was AFCON eMobile, where 82 Sports was the sponsor of the representative of Kenya in esports at the global competition. He did well. He was a quarter finalist, being his first time, just the first year from multimedia. So it was a good challenge for us. We are also venturing into sponsoring other teams away from Nairobi. We also have our team that we sponsor called Jamhuri Soccer Academy. I think they are somewhere there, also sponsored by 82 Sports. So there's a lot that we engage in, and because of you guys, it has been a success. Of course, I don't run 82 solo, so I have a team. They'll just have to stand up so we see them and recognize them for their job. Well done. We'll just clap for them, please. That is the team behind these wonderful things that is happening at 82 Sports. So you guys feel welcome, and I hope we'll see each other in the final. Of course, as I've said, the winner takes 1 million. That's a lot of money. You can just Google what number 2, 3, and the rest take. I think there's no tournament in Kenya that's awarded that way. And as I've said before, 82 Sports is the only tournament where the players get to have a medical cover. So when they got injured in our tournament, they get to be treated. And of course, the most important, the DC will say, wanakula. Sidhani tuna kidogo sana players wanapewa chakula. As much as we underrate it, but it's a good thing. So ladies and gentlemen, today is not my day, sitaki kuendelea sana. Nitamalizia hapo. We have, as I've said before, we have good partners with us. We have IMG Communication. Can we clap for them? We have SofaScore. So SofaScore is our technical partner. So all our fixtures, results, top scorer, and everything will be featured in SofaScore. So you guys will have to just log in to SofaScore. Not log in, just search SofaScore, then search 82 Ultimate Cup, and you will see everything live. Once the draw is complete, the fixtures will be live. So you can check there. We also have SMARCS Foundation, our whole team that is here. So kindly clap for them. And of course, we have Kenya Forest Service that give us the trees that we plant in this event. So I take this opportunity to welcome the patron of SMARCS Foundation, that's Ms. Charlene Ruto. Kindly clap for her.
Good evening, everyone. Naona room imejaa wanaume juni football. Wanaume ahu. Before I give my short remarks, allow me to invite Miss International Kenya to give a synopsis on how SMARCS Foundation is coming in. We are coming in through the tagline. What's the tagline? Play for green spaces. So we are deep in climate action. We are deep in sustainability. So she will give us a short synopsis on how we are coming in. Welcome, Noni.
Thank you so much, Patron. All protocols observed. God is good all the time. Amjashiba. Nimesikia wachezaji wanapewa chakula. Tuongezewe. All right. Thank you, Petron. My name is Muthoni Karaoke. You can call me Noni, Miss International Kenya. And recently, last year, I went to Tokyo, Japan. I represented Kenya, and I won as the first Miss Sustainable Beauty. Thank you so much. Hata ukisikia hivyo, na ukiniona hivyo, nimetoka mbali sana. I come from Kiambere, a village called Kiambere in Mbeere, Embu County. Maybe before mngeijua, lakini sasa nikisema Mbeere si mnaijua? Ni kwa kina wa Muthende. Yes, so, but I'm here because of my talent, my God-given talent that has enabled me to reach here, under the guidance and mentorship of our patron, Ms. Charlene, the founder of SMARCS Foundation, which we empower the children and the youth to be leaders in smart agriculture and climate action. So sisi ni wana mazingira, we take care of Mother Earth. And this is a good partnership, and I want to acknowledge and thank all the stakeholders, starting the 82 sports and every other stakeholder, because of taking this step of playing for green spaces. You might think you don't have a thing to do as a footballer or a sports person with climate and all. Kitambo tuko tunasema hizo ni shida za wazungu. Yet sisi ndio ina affect actually. But Mother Earth has given us even the grounds and the spaces where we go and play football. That is how connected we are. So if we don't take care of this planet and the environment, we will not even have the spaces where we can go and play and make and nurture this God-given talent that God has given us. So this partnership, we are going to come in to be able to bring that message of playing for green spaces, where we'll be able to partner, to be able to plant trees and also nurture those trees because of sustainability. We are not just planting trees, as we keep saying, we are growing the trees. We've heard that the probability of the trees growing and maybe being sustainable ni kidogo saa ingine. So that's where we're gonna come in. Heri tupande kidogo lakini iweze kushika, si ndio? Yeah, that's why the sustainability comes in. So people ask what this sustainability is, lakini hii mshipi ni ya ku-acknowledge Kenya na zile efforts Kenya inafanya ku-ensure we go sustainable in every way, ku-empower wanalika, watumie talanta zao kupata impact kama hii ya green spaces. So we are going, and it's not just tree planting, we also have other activities that we can do. In fact, we have like also cleaning spaces, for example, kwa hiyo community yenye watu wachezaji wanatoka, we go do a clean up. It's also part of playing for green spaces. So the first important thing is changing the mindset that si mambo tunakupanda miti alafu tunaenda. No, it affects us in every other way. Maana hiyo mti, you might not sit under it or you might not eat its fruit, but in 20 years time, someone else will thank you that you planted that tree. So just know that hata kama ni kitu kidogo, you have an important role to play. Again, sports ni talanta kubwa sana na space. Mnaona kama AFCON vile ilitupea like a whole audience globally ambao walikuwa wana watch. So if we can maximize your talanta na your space, kupatishana hiyo message ya playing for green spaces and telling people that hey, this is what you can do, this is what you can do in your community, na kusaidia wanalika, it's going to make a difference. Remember, you don't have to do a big thing so that you make a difference. Professor Wangari Maathai, si mnamjua? Si mnamjua? Huyo ndio champe wetu, alituambia it's the little thing that you do that will make a difference. So hiyo kidogo tu utafanya to ensure kwamba watu wamejua mambo ya climate na wame take care of the environment, ili kusaidia wewe as a mchezaji na community yako, it's going to make a difference. Sawa sawa. So thank you so much for that. Thank you patron kwa kutushikilia. Na hata mimi ni mwana sport, usinione hivyo. Nikitoa hizi viatu, alafu mnipe hiyo ball. Nimesikia kuna mita. Patron, utakuwa unaniallow saa ingine na kuna timu inaweza nipocha hapa. Mita 1-2 and then naanguka hata mimi nayo. So I wish you all the best, and once again thank you so much. Mungu awabariki. We look forward to a sustainable partnership. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noni. So to the founders and visionaries behind the dream that is 82 Sports, to the CEO, the team, the different partners who are gathered here, as SMARCS Foundation, we are very proud and happy to be coming in as the sustainable green partner. And our dream is that we move from playing for green spaces to playing in green spaces. The video that was just showcased, you saw the atmosphere and the environment that our players were playing in, right? So through this combined partnership, we are going to resource mobilize together. We are going to bring other partners on board to see how we can have better green spaces for our players. Over 45% of the Kenyan population watch football. That shows you the importance of football, not just for our young people, but also for our economy. So we are very keen on young people, and I'm hoping not just young men, but also young women being actively involved in Matters Sports, especially in regards to 82 sports for Matters Football. So please mark the date on Friday, 30th January. Tell your neighbor, 30th January. We will be at the venue, the Police Sacco Stadium, right? And we will be planting trees. Now, we'll be giving also a lot of technical guidance, because at the moment, we don't have rains coming in. We'll be having rainfall from April, as predicted by Kenya Meteorological Department. So we have found a sustainable way that there's a team on ground there at the stadium who will be daily checking on the trees that we are going to plant. We will also be recording the trees we plant and any activities we do on the Jaza Miti app. This is an app that has been done by the Kenya Forestry Service and KEFRI in conjunction, so that we can have the 15 billion tree campaign coming up. As SMACS Foundation, we've already done 200,000 trees plus, which we have recorded on the Jaza Miti app, and we will thus be recording our trees on the Jaza Miti app in regards to this partnership, so that we're able to keep track of what we are doing. We are keen on sustainability, we are keen on data recording, so that at the end of the year, or by the time we come back next year for the next main tournament, we can give a report that this is how we've been able to move from playing for green spaces to now playing in green spaces. So allow us to congratulate 82 Sports on this launch today, and to count on us for continued partnership. Thank you.
I think we can do better than that. Please, a round of applause to the patron of SMACS Foundation, Ms. Charlene Ruto. Thank you so much, Ms. Sustainable Beauty, and thank you to Okuto. Now that we feel at home, karibuni to Weston. Special shout out to Weston Hotel. Karibuni, I hope wala walikuja mapema mmepata kitu and nimetushikilia kidogo, si ndio? My name is Balo. I'll be your MC for tonight, but I'm not doing this alone. I have one of the most celebrated journalists in the country. His name is Mike Okinyi, who is not, new to us. Everyone has heard of Mike Okinyi. So before Mike Okinyi gets on stage, at the back, while we are having our refreshments, I think mliona banner, sindio? So just next to the banner is where the washrooms are. So if you feel like you'd like to visit the washrooms are on that side. So ladies and gentlemen, at this point, kindly put your hands together and help me invite to the podium the one and only Mr. Mike Okinyi. Wapi makofi tafadhali. And as we begin, I'd like the team to come help me carry the seats to the stage. Karibu sana, Mike.
Thank you. Habari zenu? Asomtambu. The problem of speaking behind the cameras or in front of the cameras, you don't see the audience. Now when you're put to look at the audience and you're ambushed, vile Balo ananiambia weka hapo upige stories za ball. Ashaniweka kwa podium sasa ile wanapanga bado. So, but anyway, I think 82 Ultimate Cup is one of the most important tournaments that we can have in Nairobi. I wish that the organizers can think about spreading it further. We don't need to go Kisumu, Nakuru for now. Fikisha hapa Kiambu, Limuru, Kajiado. It will make a lot of sense because I know what it means to these teams that are playing. The likes of Akina Tusker Youth, 1,000. They would not have the opportunity, for example, to be seen and to be on TV, for example. Hiyo space ni Akina Gor, FC. That's why unasikia watu wanasema tea weka table. It's because they want to see that table of KPL. Who is leading, who is following in number 2 and all that. So I think one of the areas that we can improve on, and this one goes to Mr. Okuto, I will tell you, I am in the mainstream media in the newsroom. We can make some two small decisions that are not so big but impactful. But sijaona hata siku moja invite inasema tuko na 82 cup inachezwa hapa, kuja ukave ama kuja uwatch. Hapo kuto umetuangusha, nawaambia tu kweli. But this is what I can promise, is that I'm seeing this final is on the 1st, which is a Sunday. On Monday afternoon, we normally have a program called Football 90, and we focus on teams like the ones that are playing in 82 Cup. We are not bothered with Gor Mahia, AFC Leopards. Those ones will get all the limelight that they want. But wale wa mtaa, siku gani watapata hiyo chance ya kuonekana kwa TV pia wao. So this is the promise that I will put today, and this one I'll speak to Okuto after this. Ile team itashinda hiyo Sunday. Monday afternoon kwa Football 90 tuko na nyinyi. Hapo sawa? So Mr. Okuto, tupange hiyo. Asante. Watu wangu wakuje sasa, tupige story.
So our first panel discussion is about football infrastructure and opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, a licensed FIFA agent all the way from Real Madrid, kindly put your hands together for Mr. Kevin Wanjala. Makofi na kelele kidogo. Watu wa Barcelona ndo wapigi makofi. Dadise, piga makofi tafadhali. Right, the founder and CEO, Football Foundation for Africa. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Brian Wesala. Amesema kofi itafunika look kidogo. So mpigeni makofi, that's Mr. Brian Wesala. Our patron at the Jack Kim Foundation, Mr. Jared Kimeto. Tafadhali, pigeni Mr. Ametuma representative atajiintroduce, karibu sana. Last but not least, the commercial director of Nairobi United, ladies and gentlemen, one Mr. Enos Mutoka. Mpigeni makofi tafadhali. Thank you so much. That is our panel. A round of applause. Tena tupige makofi. Mike, take it away.
Gentlemen, karibuni sana. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Mike Okinyi. I'm the sports editor at Citizen TV. This is my 26th year covering sports in this country. Piga hesabu. Najua hesabu inaanza kupigwa kwa akili. Kama ako 26 hii amefanya 26 years kwa media, kwani alianza akiwa miaka ngapi? Yes, 49 is my age. I am 49 but nimeusudu mazoezi. So, kipata watu wanacheza ball, mimi niko hapo. So it makes a lot of sense. So, my panel, thank you very much. Kevin Wanjala, hujatuambia wewe ni Hala Madrid. Why Danamas? Wanaelewa Hala Madrid hawa?
Lazima.
How sio?
That's a very big team, so lazima waelewe.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
Brian, karibu sana. Kwa karibu na mimi hapa tutapiga story zaidi. Then from representative wa Oliver, utajiintroduce watu wakujue. Majina kamili?
Habari za jioni. Kwa majina naitwa Oliver Kipto. Mimi ndio technical director Jakim Foundation. Asante.
Asante bwana Oliver. Then tuko na Enos. Karibu sana, new kids on the block. Wako na pesa, Nairobi United, watatuambia wanaitoa wapi. Yeah. So, we'll get right into it, and we're talking about football infrastructure and opportunities. My first question will go to Enos. We have the expertise in this country to make sure that we have the proper infrastructure. Shida iko wapi? Why don't we have proper infrastructure for football?
Asante sana bwana Mike. I think for a long time we have struggled as a country in sports, because we are treating sports as a pastime. When people go to the stadium to cheer AFC Leopards, Gor Mahia, and now Nairobi United, most of the time we haven't put so much emphasis on sports as it should. People just go there as a pastime. They have just heard there's a match, and therefore they are going there. And that then goes down to our society and the government in place, where we find that they are not also giving that emphasis to the infrastructure we have in the country. We have seen stadiums like Nyayo, Kasarani being closed for refurbishment for a long time, and then when it's reopened, you find that CAF comes in and they say it's not approved to host international matches. So we don't treat our sports in this country as an economy on its own that can drive something for our country. And that's why we keep having these problems of not having infrastructure, of not being able to have something that we can say, tomorrow I can definitely go to a stadium and have a match there. The other problem that we have in this country is that, yes, we can have that stadium, but you find that when we have a match, that match is competing with the crusade. That match is competing with another event that is not related to sports at all. And therefore, just the way, the approach that we give to sports in this country is what is ailing us.
Asante sana. Kevin, I want you to pick it up from there. And how detrimental is it that hatuna viwanja vyetu tunacheza kwa red carpet mostly? And by red carpet I mean hivyo viwanja tumeona 82 wakicheza hapa. I didn't see a blade of grass anywhere, but we are used to that. How detrimental is this to the identification of talents? Hiyo kukosa kiwanja muhimu.
Of course, without the right facilities, it's very hard for one to showcase their talent. For example, I'll give a perfect example. When it came to the under-17 women, when they were playing against Mexico, the first time that Kenya qualified for the World Cup, we won against Mexico 2-1, and we conceded a penalty. The one goal was the penalty. If you look at how the goalkeeper dived, she went to the right direction, but she was very slow to dive. The agility and the speed is not there. That brings us back to the facilities that we have. The goalkeeper is already used to protecting herself, not diving on a rough ground. I don't know if you get me. So even if they go to a world-class facility where the grass is soft and everything, they still have that in their mind.
Mentally, anajua hii ground inaweza niumiza.
Inaweza niumiza, yes. So it really affects how you can showcase your talent. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Brian, with Football Foundation for Africa, first of all, so many people don't know what you guys do, yet you do so much in terms of Football Foundation for Africa. How is Football Foundation for Africa trying to alleviate these problems that we have, the infrastructure problem around football?
Thank you, Mike. So the Football Foundation for Africa, which we started now, we are doing our 8th year now. Our motive has always been, how do we drive more investment into grassroots football? And that remains our focus. So what we have been trying to do mostly is to capacity build, educate the industry on what needs to be done to change things. And this is a very long game, if I can say that, because it's not easy. As my friend Enos here saying, the investment has not been going into sports simply because of the way we treat sports. First, it was a pastime, and then we are working to change that mentality. And you hear people more and more talking about sports or football being big business. Or a lot of our grassroots football clubs, they depend on the charity perspective. So as much as we have been doing these, it's still not working, especially when it comes to things such as infrastructure. So ours has been a very intellectual process, just to try to understand where the challenge is or what the challenge is. And as recently as late last year, when we organized our 4th Africa Football Business Summit in Mombasa, we came to what we see as a breakthrough. how do we view football, especially in Africa. And we have come up with a conceptual model that is football as infrastructure. So football should be valued for what it can contribute beyond the pitch. And I'm glad organizations like 82 Sports are already ahead of the game. They are now doing football and sustainability, or football and climate change. That's the only way we can bring in more investment into the space. For us at the Football Foundation for Africa, is to try and explore as much as possible how do we open up the value proposition for different stakeholders. So we have football for health, football for education, and football for tourism, as we'll see with the upcoming AFCON. And these are things that, for example, government is interested in. And we also see government as the primary investor in football, which is not the same probably as other developed sports economies. But closely to follow the government is the private sector, but our value proposition for the private sector needs to change. Beyond sponsorship, we need to go into more long-term partnerships to realize long-term value that drives investment not only to football but into adjacent sectors. So that's what we do as the Football Foundation for Africa, and one of our key initiatives that we'll be launching soon is also the Africa Football Development Network. So far, we have a network of over 300 football academies and clubs across Africa. About 40% are in Kenya. And really is to use these to leverage economies of scale to see how do we now position these for different, including international development organizations, to invest into the football sports space. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to change or to improve football and sports in Kenya and Africa. And that's what we are doing or have been doing as the Football Foundation for Africa.
That's quite a lot. And Enos, Brian says the government has got a role to play in terms of development of infrastructure. When you look at CAF club licensing, inatuambia kabla tucheze Continental, utuonyeshe ya kwamba muko na stadium yenyu, muko na youth development, muko na women teams, all right? Muko na youth team. You are playing at the continental stage right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult, 10 being very difficult and 1 being not very difficult, was it to conform to the club licensing, especially when you know that utategemea Dandora ikifungwa leo, uende ucheze sijui kiwanja gani ikifungwa, like we said, hauna mahali pa kucheza. How difficult was it to conform to that, and how are you changing that situation as Nairobi United, if you're here to stay for the long term?
It's quite hard to really conform to the club licensing, especially in Kenya, because when you look at our infrastructure, again, we just come back to that point of infrastructure. Most of our clubs don't have any infrastructural development. Most. In fact, I would say it's only one club in the country at the moment that has St. Sebastian in Murang'a that is trying. But most of the clubs in the country don't have infrastructure as we speak. And therefore, it becomes so hard. That's why whenever the league starts, you will find, like Nairobi United, we have taken Kasarani as our home ground. Kasarani is a national stadium. Other clubs have taken Nyayo as the home ground. And therefore, it becomes very hard. But at Nairobi United, we are, as Mike has said, we are the new kid on the block. But we have strategies that we are putting in place. We've already acquired land, and we believe in the next year or so, we should be able to start putting up a sports facility that will not just be for football, but that will encompass all the sports aspects that our young people can be developed through. Because it is so hard for you to be depending on a stadium or a training ground that you have to be hiring on a daily basis. It becomes a hemorrhage for any club to keep spending such money on a daily basis in terms of hiring that ground. And again, when you hire ground, you're only given some like 2-3 hours to train. And therefore, you have players that you pay on a monthly basis. You want to get maximum out of these players. But because of those constraints, you can only have these players for 3 hours in training on a daily basis. When other developed countries, players will have a session in the morning, a session in the afternoon, and a session in the evening because they have their own infrastructure. But what is ailing us as a country You go outside there, you go to countries like South Africa, you find that we have companies in this country, let me not mention them, but companies, multinational companies in this country, sponsoring other teams in those leagues in like South Africa. But here in Kenya, we do not have those companies being involved in football. And then the other thing that is again a hindrance, some of these companies, instead of sponsoring the local teams, like what 82 Sports is doing now, I am so happy with the model that they are using. They have divided Nairobi into eight zones, and from those zones, they are getting 8 teams out of it. Those are communal teams. Those are community teams. And therefore, when you invest in them, you're investing in the community. But these companies in the country, they have decided to start their own teams. And so you find, sometimes when we talk about this thing as footballers, it becomes laughable. You go to Kasarani and find a Club A is playing against Club B. Kasarani Stadium has 60,000 seater capacity. And this Club A and B, they have less than 10 spectators. Because we are not investing in community, we are now starting to rival those and compete those communities. Look at Real, where my friend is coming from. Look at Barcelona. They are building from the communities. And so when you rally, you have a rallying call to the communities, you can easily go forward and develop. But if you start as a company, then give us these stadiums, give us this infrastructure, give us these facilities so that our sports can develop, our young people can be identified, their talents nurtured and harnessed in the right way.
Well, if you have any questions for any of the panelists, just keep it. In a few minutes, I'll open the floor for questions, but let's finish off with the most important ones, and I'll go to Oliver. Being somebody who, Jakim Foundation, you are a foundation that works very closely with the youth, and the youth are tied with sports, football being in there. How do we leverage on those ties to ensure that ile kidogo mko nayo ama zile connections mko nazo mnaweza tumia kutengeneza hivi viwanja so that we have some playable surfaces on the pitches of football that we have?
As grassroots organizations, I think that is the key thing, because one of the challenges that we are facing even on organizing tournaments pale mashinani is grounds. I believe 82 Sports and Jakim Foundation, when you ask them today, their biggest challenge is those grounds. So what we normally do as Jakim Foundation, since we serve a very undeserved area, remote area, the tournaments we've been running is in very remote areas. We've marshaled support from the county government, from friends and partners. We've been able to help in grading some fields for the schools, making sure that they are playable, they are workable, and they can be used pale mashinani. It is hard, it's a challenge from every part and every point, but that is exactly the reason why having these organizations at grassroots level are able to help develop this football. Because when we organize tournaments at the grassroots level, we also make sure that we bring partners to ensure that the grounds are playable, the teams are kitted every time, because the grassroots, there are no kits. At least they have equipment which they use, and we also make sure that we have the peace that comes with the sports that we are organizing every time. We follow a lot of partners. We follow a lot of friends. We follow a lot of good and well wishers to ensure that at least we are able to upgrade the fields at the grassroots level, and to ensure that they are at least playable, even in the remotest of the places.
Before I open the floor to other questions, Kevin, there is a new phenomenon that is happening in Nairobi and across the country. It started with Nairobi, and our so-called county governments, they realize that there's a problem of infrastructure. Any space that is available now, they say, we are going to put world-class facilities, stadiums out there. But what do? They get that pitch, wanaweka artificial grass on top of it. And we think, tuko sawa, mambo imefanyika vizuri. Yet when you get to the developed countries across the world, that artificial turf is ni lugha wataki kusikia hata kidogo. So, could you explain to our guys here how important it is to have proper grass and not even that artificial, and the detriments of that artificial grass, looking at even KPL clubs? Wamesema ile kiwanja Nairobi United hiyo Dandora waitaki tena. They do not want that one. How important is it that we get proper turf and not have this artificial turf that we think is the best thing that has happened to us?
I'll trace back the question to SMAC's Foundation. Yeah? When you say play for green spaces, now play in green spaces, is grass also part of it, or it's only trees? Grass also. Okay. Yeah. So I'll use the example of tennis, how to show the importance of how grass is. When you look at the Wimbledon, after the tournament, the Wimbledon, the grass is always maintained to an 8 millimeter. It will never go above that. 9 millimeters and the players will never have a good game. So back to football. For me, what the county government is doing, well, it's 50-50. When we say they are trying to, because first of all, the pitches that we have in Kenya, I've traveled a lot to watch some of the grassroots football, and you see the type of pitches that we play in, and you're like, oh my God, if you compare it to the stadia that we have in international countries like the other countries, I do say with artificial grass, for the start, it's a good thing for me, according to me, because it's better than none. And we should focus more on I have this philosophy called 6:1, whereby we should focus more on training rather than the competitions. Because if you look at sports, generally sports, the players train more than they compete.
Correct.
They train 6 times and they compete 1 time. Walk across Germany, walk across Spain, you will find they have put all these artificial pitches, more than 500, maybe in one zone, just for the people to train. So what we should focus more on is having these artificial places to be open for the public. They should be more of training hubs for the public. We have a population of around 50 million in Kenya. If we can have 1,250 of them spread over across the country, which means one is serving every 50,000 people, you register to play in that pitch, so that we can monetize and say, okay, the people who live in the areas of Langata use this pitch more, and we need to add 1 more pitch. But if we only focus on building, as they say, world-class facilities, we'll be focusing on competitions, one-time competitions like the AFCON. But what next? What next after the AFCON? Yeah, so it's a good thing they're trying to do, but I see it's meant for the betterment of our training, but not the betterment of the competition. If it's for the competition, for the Premier League clubs, then it takes us back not only to the pitch, but to the business model. I have not seen any philosophy in Kenya yet, or if we do have a financial watchdog that says for you to open a football club, you have to show us that you have enough money to run for the next 1 season. You can survive relegation, like if you don't have sponsorship money coming in, you can generate revenue from your own, not only from the ticket stadia, from the ticket sales, etc., etc. So it's a multifaceted thing, and we cannot just point and say this and that. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you're touching on club licensing that CAF introduced. It talks about all those things and how we pass that club licensing at some clubs in Kenya. We have no clue. Any questions that we have? Balo, utatusaidia hapa kupitisha microphone. Questions from the panel? We'll take like 2 or 3 at a go. Kindly introduce yourself, then you shoot your question. Identify the person you're asking the question.
Good evening. My name is Dismas Ondicho. Mathare Not United is my team. Talking of opportunity, in Kenya, I would really say in social opportunity we have executed very well. That is, football has been used to bring social cohesion. youth development and crime reduction. But now, in terms of inclusive opportunity, we have people from the ghetto. These people, sometimes they lack enough funds, they lack exposure. Is there anything that we feel that can be done to ensure that these people get the opportunity of being inclusive? And then in Kenya, we also have scouting databases and international academic partnerships, but then they are not enough. So meaning most talents in the ghetto don't have the chance to be exposed globally. What can be done to ensure that at least there's a fair chance for all of us? And then lastly, talk of post-career opportunity. We don't have a sports ecosystem that can be able to help most of the people after they have retired from their career. We can attest that we have people or players whose careers ended because of injuries. They end up being miserable simply because we don't have a sports ecosystem that can do or sustain all of them. And then we have good players who can be used as coaches or can be used to mentor players. But then again, after they end their career, where do they go? Is there something we can do to ensure that we have a sports ecosystem to include them in today's Kenyan sports? Thank you.
Dismas, maswali mzito hizo, and I want to spread them out. In fact, we'll start with the opportunities for the players in the ghetto, having not so many opportunities. I think, Brian, you can take that one up. Kevin.
So, opportunities. The good thing about sports is you are not born talented, and anybody anybody, like if you look at people like Cristiano Ronaldo, they always say you have to work hard for that, for you to go to a top club. It's not only talent that takes you to the top level, but also your hard work. So let's go to the matter of opportunities. How many players do we know that have managed to leave Kenya and go to a top professional club? I know of Victor Wanyama, we know of Mariga, and who else? Any top player?
If you talk about top clubs,
yes.
Those two, unless we consider also Olunga, who had a stint in Spain,
it's
on
a
loan.
good thing.
Yes.
Okay. What, for me as an agent, that is my work, to ensure that you have an opportunity. That is my work. But the problem is this for Kenya. Many people have approached me saying, can you help me get here, get there, help me get here, get there? But we lack the visibility. That brings us to media coverage. And media coverage is not about setting that camera there and recording me play football. It's about the tactical angle, it's about the broadcasting angle that we want to watch to understand how are you. Because they don't check you, they don't take you because of how good you are. They check 4 things, and we call it the 4-corner model, which is the physicality, how strong are you, your endurance. Then they check the psychological. Do you have leadership skills? Can you survive under pressure? Can you perform your talent at will? Can you sleep in the night when you've lost the game? And then we also have the social part that we check. Can you adapt? Because from the ghetto, if you leave from the ghetto and you go to a country like France, for example, I believe that is a new culture. Can you adapt in? Are you going to be coachable? Are you ready to learn the language? Are you ready to interact with your players? And then now the last part is now the technical. This is what many people focus on by saying this player is a good one and they believe this player will now play. But in the top clubs, they look at the person, then the player, because they believe this. You can train talent, you can train the technique, but you cannot fix behavior easily. So your behavior also matters the most when it comes to opportunities. And opportunities is not because you cannot, and I cannot say that you can't get the opportunities because you're in the ghetto. I blame our system, because for a long time, all those players, not only in football, the people that we have seen strive for excellence, people like Faith Kipyegon, they don't do that because of our system, but it's because of the individual brilliance. So we have so many heroes in this multitude back in the ghetto everywhere that play so well, but the only problem is they lack visibility. Because if you come to me and say, let me help you get a club, but you don't have any video for me to show, you don't have any sports CV, it's very hard for me to, to give the data, to say this and that. So we have to work as a collective, and I think 82 Sports, we should work on that, so that in this tournament we make sure that we have the right data and the right media coverage, so that we can have one or two players at least find their chances abroad. Yes,
Thank you, Kevin. You've raised a very valid point, because I remember last year we had 2 players that were picked right from school. Aldrin Kibet, Amos Wanjala, top talents. We knew these ones can fit straight into any team. They go to one of the best academies in Spain, and when they get there, Nastic Academy had all these people checking all the things that our agent has talked about. And their verdict was that as much as the talent is there, as much as the skill is there, they need at least 9 months of getting into Spain, and will teach them to think in Spanish. Number one, you will not think in English then translate into Spanish. No, you'll think like a Spaniard. And all these things weren't calculated in them, and we thought they're wasting our time with these boys. But if you calculate it properly, it took exactly that time for Aldrin Kibet to be signed by Celta Vigo. And it has taken slightly longer for Amos Wanjala to be signed by Valencia. They signed him just yesterday. We're just waiting for the announcement, but he has signed a 2-year contract. So very valid points Kevin is raising there. Thank you very much. The other question that Dismas asked, and this one I'll take it to Brian. Scouting is not enough. That's what he's talking about. The talents that we have are not very well exposed. What do we do to expose these talents?
I think, again, it all boils down to investment. And from where we sit as the Football Foundation for Africa, I have to kind of deviate, because for us, our mission is not how many players we scout. For us, it's how do we expand the platforms where our players can express themselves. You see, scouting is a very extractive model when it comes to an industry, and as much as we want to push players abroad, I think we should also ask ourselves a very important question. How many of our players will go abroad? Because that's what most of us are thinking of. How many of our players will go abroad? And you have said that you have just clearly highlighted the challenge of getting there and having to play. I think for us, more important is to invest in our ecosystems here, build better facilities, try and get in more investment so that players can earn a decent living playing here, and still the very best will progress if it's to the top leagues. So one thing we also encourage is developing a dual career. For me, as I sit here, I would like to encourage the players here, pursue your education to the highest level possible. It doesn't have to be a degree, it could be a technical course, but keep your options open, especially at the grassroots level, because this is what makes you a valuable contributor to a society beyond your football skills. At the same time, football gives you a very brilliant mind. I can tell you from research, footballers are some of the smartest people we have in the world, and you can tell from the scanning and what footballers do. But that can be applied in various aspects of society to make sure that you earn a decent living throughout your life, and not just for the 10 or 15 years that you're going to play football. So as much as some players might be scouted, for me, I insist in Africa, we still need to invest more to expand the quality of opportunities here in Kenya before we think of pushing players abroad.
Oliver, I want you to pick up from where Brian has left, and This one goes, I'll join the question that Dismas asked with this one, because Dismas was asking, beyond football, what do we have being offered by people like Jakim Foundation, because you work with the grassroots people? Senegal have won AFCON twice in the last 3 editions. They have won the under-20s, under-17s, same as Morocco, and everybody else is wondering what is the magic pill that they are using. And for Senegal, for what are you doing with yourself? So they insist on education and those technical skills that you can get. So in Kenya, why is it so difficult to have our people and our players get into those type of trainings? Because our minds are focused on that football, and you say it's football or nothing. How do we change that mindset? Oliver.
Thank you. That is a very good and critical question that we really need to tackle as a nation, because rather than only being a challenge to the player himself, it's also a challenge to the economy and the country as a whole. One is the structure that we have as a nation. Where do we begin developing our players? We have primary, we have high school, we have colleges. Who handles our players in primary, in high school, and in colleges? We lack consistency. We leave all the development to be like a guesswork in our nation. No structured coaching for the young kids. Many people believe that football begins after high school. No. When a kid gets to 7 years, they need to start learning the basics as they grow, under 7, under 9, and so on. When they begin at a very young age, then they need also to be trained on life skills. That's where the grassroots organization must come in and invest heavily on training of coaches, making sure that there is uprightness in developing those kids. Look at the systems and the structures that we are having. A very big breakdown. You come from primary, you head to secondary. 2 different coaches, not trained. That is a very big challenge that we also need to look at as a nation. The federation and all these organizations handling the sports must chip in and look at the training. Recently, FKF introduced a coaching structure. We believe it will help because it begins at a younger age. Now they've categorized coaches, those who are handling the kids who are below 13 years, those who are handling those kids that are between 13 and 15 years, and those that are handling the senior kids. That is 1. 2, as parents, are we taking sports as a career or only it's a pastime? That is a big challenge because a lot of parents are not looking at sports as football, as any other sport, as a career for their kid. So they don't push so much in that kid's life. They insist on education only. They say sports will affect it. We need to balance the two. Because after school, when parents lack school fees, when parents lack finances to take their kids to higher education, they get lost. They stop going to, they focus on football, and that is where the breakdown is. That is where Jakim Foundation, 82 Sports, and the federation and the government needs to come in. Train these kids how to have life after that. We have so many opportunities. Today in Kenya, the total number of players that we are seeing on the pitches and the teams that we are having is less than 10% of the total players that we can channel into these ecosystems of sport. But what happens? What happens? That's a question that people don't answer. What happens to the rest? There are no teams. There are no coaches. We don't have enough coaches. Dismas, you've said the ecosystem does not allow. It's only that the structure that we're having is not allowing a coach to come into the system and become part of the ecosystem and be able to earn from it. That is why today a lot of academies are coming up. They are well-funded, well-financed in every village, in every location. But are we tapping into that same line? That is where we need to look at, and that is where Jakim Foundation, 82 Sports, the federation, the government need to chip in and make sure that we are having the best out of it. Today, we have less than 5,000 coaches trained. How many players will you churn out of the system with less than 5,000 coaches? One coach can only handle, say, 30. How many those? 15,000 players. But as a nation, we need, as a nation and foundations like Jakim and 82 Sports, rather than only focusing on the sports side, we also need to move to focus on training the same coaches. When they get out of the system, they get the training, they're given teams to handle, because the last week I was in Mombasa. I'll just give it as an example. I went to the beach to play beach football with guys there. I found very good players. And I asked them one question. Why are you not in teams? Why don't you have coaches? They told me one answer. You've not even seen it. Let's go to the pitch. I went now to a training ground. There were over 200 players training on their own. We need to sensitize ourselves. We need to train ourselves. We need to come into the ecosystem, and that is where the organizations like Jakim Foundation and 82 Sports are supposed to come and bridge this gap. Mike, it's a big task, but we are able to do it.
The first step is here, and we are doing it. Last question for this panel? Take two, okay.
Hi, my name is Dadise. My question is to Enos. What plans do you have as Nairobi United? From my understanding, it's that it's owned by Sakaja through Sakaja Foundation. Case in study of Nairobi City Stars that was owned by, I think, Jonathan Jackson, if I'm not wrong. It was owned by an individual. So for your case, it might be different because Sakaja is a politician. And so my question will not be very technical. It will be something that is spoken about, and I'm sure you've read about it somewhere. They say in Swahili, timu ya mwanasiasa akianguka, timu itakufa. So I don't know what plans you have with Nairobi United in terms of how you plan to stay afloat in the KPL, beyond this year, that is. Yeah.
Let's do all, then just answer.
Okay.
Okay.
My name is Amosa. Mi ndo nimekuwa nikitangaza hizi mechi za 82. Tangia zianze, first edition, second edition, and this third edition. Swali langu linaenda kwa Nairobi United. Kuna baadhi ya wachezaji ambao sisi wenyewe hata kama watangazaji tukienda kwa ground tunaangalia huyu mchezaji ni mzuri. Kuna mchezaji kutoka Mkuru kwa Ruben anaitwa Tapo, nikiwa katika maeneo ya mtandao. Mafans pia walitag Nairobi United for this player. But sijaiona kama mchezaji kama huyu amechukuliwa, sijaiona kitu kama hiyo mpaka sasa hivi tunavyozungumza. Swali la pili linamwendea Scout, my friend from Real Madrid. Sasa hapa hivi Kenya kuna academy mingi sana. I can give you an example of Dream Soccer, Blue Bombers, hizi za watoto. For your scout kind of job, is there a specific age yenye unakujia, or even the kids yenye unaweza chukua pia wao waende wamente the other side ya dunia? Vile tunazungumza saa hii ni kama sisi wote na ile panelist pale mbele, kama mimi nimesikia mkiongea, ni kama achievement yetu kubwa kabisa ni kuchukua mchezaji tumpeleka aenda cheze nje. Tunasahau hapo hivi nyumbani. Nikirudia kwa Nairobi United, kuna wakati nimeona best player amezawadiwa televisheni. but huyu mchezaji maybe alifunga mabao, alikuwa mfungaji bora, maybe alikuwa the best kind of player kwa hiyo ligi ya KPL, akazawadiwa televisheni. Na tukiangalia the other side ya dunia, unapata best player, top scorer, best goalkeeper, anapewa golden glove, anapewa golden boots na zawadi zingine. So ukiangalia zawadi ambazo tunapatia mchezaji kama televisheni, haitampatia motisha mchezaji wa pale chini pia mimi naye nitie bidii katika masuala ya kimchezo, pia mimi niende nizawadiwe mpira. Inafika wakati unapata kuna kama tuseme Gor Mahia ndio amekuwa washindi miaka nenda miaka rudi. Unapata inafika mali EPL inasema, KPL inasema hawana pesa za kumzawadi nani yule nambari ya kwanza. Kuna baadhi ya vilabu pale Kakamega ukienda Western, kuna klabu inaitwa Arsenal. Hii klabu haijai concentrate kufika kwenye ligi. Wanachezanga tu hizi tournaments hapa hivi chini, wakishashinda milioni 1, milioni 2 wao wako sawa. Hawajaiweka maanani tushinde twende katika ligi. Kiini na kisababu kinaweza kuwa nini?
My first question goes to Mike Okinyi.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is George Ogado, TM Jamhuri Soccer. Question 1. How possible is it that a scout can come from Spain and identify a talent in one of our schools, a talent who, our own national team is not aware of the existence of a talent that a Spaniard is able to identify? Secondly, tied to that, how is the national team selection done in Kenya? Do we have coaches for the under categories, the junior categories? Who are they? Are their names in the public domain? Are they affiliated in any way to other clubs? How are they able to resist the temptation of being biased? How are they able to reach out to players who are not affiliated to their circle of friends? Thirdly, we have also talked of about schools and talents. We've seen schools have started playing national leagues. Is this good for our country? When high school registers their teams to play in the national league or FKF leagues. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you. My name is Albert Wesonga, former CEO of FC Leopards, and currently coordinator Beyond the Pitch. My first question goes to Mike Okinyi. Why is it that every time all media, sports time starts with international games or international events? And you guys, being that you are the people in sports, we have events in the country that you guys can give a first priority. But if you watch even news today, in sports, during sports time, they always start with EPL. And that's why even in this room, if you start questioning or asking who supports Arsenal and Man U, you'll find more fans than people who supports local league. That's number one. Number two goes to goes to Jakim Foundation. This foundation, I'm sure, has been there for some time. And the main problem, me being that I have been in football industry for some time, players come from down, well polished, but you guys don't make a follow-up, or you don't give a feedback, or in conjunction with the parents, we should be in a position to nurture these players until they reach to their destination. Right now, as my colleagues has just put it, we have about 180-something academies in the country. And these academies, 3/4 of them, I think to me, they're just after business. So to me, I'll request all organizations and the foundations that are here today, if you can actually partner with the people who are coming up like 82 Sports, so that we can do a follow-up, so that we know before this player was young and during his life active time and even the retirement age. The last one goes to maybe the organizers of 82 Sports. I'm sure you know about Mashuru Sports Complex. Why is it that 82 Sports should not come up with such kind of facilities like the one we have in Mashuru Sports Complex, so that also within Nairobi or one out of the country, we should have a sports complex that either matches the Mashuru one or better than that one. Because right now, you launching up the tournament, I'll also want to see how far or where are you going, where are we going as 82 Sports. Thank you.
Last two, I promise.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Coach Jerim Owor. Surprisingly, I'm the only one in the room who supports local football. And my club is FC Manoir, a club at Babadogo for kids. I have two questions focused on Kevin Wanjala. And the first one is, kindly give us a definition of a football academy with your knowledge from where you come from. With my basic knowledge, is the so-called football academies in Kenya are simply social clubs that bring kids together to have fun, play football. Question number 2. Do you want to tell me that we are that pathetic as a national team? Because you've given me an example that our Kenyan team under 17 girl could not save a penalty, with an example of that she feared falling down on a grass pitch. With my knowledge, the national team of Kenya has never trained kwa hizo viwanja zetu za mtaa. They normally train at Kasarani, where the pitch is grass. So for me, this young girl had trained, played in qualifiers on a grass pitch. So if you give me an example that on that match she failed to get the penalty because she feared to fall down, kindly give me a better example. Thank you.
I will start. Yeah?
Yeah, Musho, sorry.
Okay. Wait, just let's take all the questions, then we'll do the answers.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mercy Bisaule, founder and CEO of Trauma Events, also a member of AFC Leopards. I have some few questions. Number 1, we've talked about exposure, yes, but I also wanted to find out about the scouting network. When talking to Kevin, I know you are able to organize a scouting tournament wherever you are, in Real Madrid, South Africa, all over. Now, when we have such tournaments like 82 Ultimate Cup, I'm sure we will get the best players that can form a team, that can go outside there and compete in the world. From there, you're able to expose these talents. There's no need of us having 1,000 academies and tournaments, and we are not doing anything about these boys. They're still struggling. They still go back to their villages, and there's nothing they're able to put on their table. So if we are here, we have very great minds in this room, and I know there's so much that you guys can do to make sure that we uplift football in Kenya. The other thing is financial literacy. That has been the major undoing in football. Yes, we will take a village boy, come to join AFC. We give them a lot of money without a plan on what to do with the money. We saw like when now we had the AFCON, people are given millions every day. I wonder what they're doing with those millions. Did we take time to teach them on investments? And then the third thing is, can we work on a program where we are able to have our footballers give back to community? We are crying of we don't have a football pitch. And these guys are out here and they're earning money internationally. Can we have something that we can actually work on to make sure that now that we get all the money back, if we have to do a percentage, if we have to raise a circle, if we have to give something in terms of shares, then everyone can be called upon and they're able to partner so that we can build football on our own. We don't have to depend on the government for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. And I'd like Kevin to pick up from there, start with those two questions about Scouting Network and what really is a football academy, a proper one.
Okay. I will start first with the goalkeeper example that he said I should give a good example. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, that was when we won against Mexico 2-1. That was the only win that we had in the history of Kenya. Yeah? Mm-hmm. I'm also a performance analyst, and I'm the one who volunteered to give the assistant coach the analysis of how Mexico played and how we could play against them. And I also I analyzed some penalties, and I told her of the tendency of the goalkeeper diving. So when the goalkeeper was diving, she knew that this player is going on the right. And when I say our facilities are also part of the problem, it's not because it is the only problem, but it is part of the problem. If her agility was quick, or if her speed was quick, it means that we have the best sports science facilities in our country. But I'm very sure we don't have the best, or I don't know if we have good sports science facilities. I don't know. We don't have any. Because look at this. When a player is playing, some train hard and some train smart. I'll use an example of a certain athlete called Marius Bakken. He was an athlete. He has done a lot of research, came to Kenya. The guy was running and was measuring the lactate. Lactate is a substance that is produced when your body is, working so hard. It's like a fuel. So this guy was measuring the lactate threshold so that he knows when do I get fatigue in my body. And if he understands that my fatigue starts from 75, he will train 74 and below. And he will have a long-time endurance. So sports science is the biggest factor, not the facilities. Sports science is the biggest factor, because how do you expect to compete against people who are being held by computers? How do you expect to compete against a person who knows your tendency of taking a free kick, your tendency of playing, like they do understand you tactically? And I go back to the question, what is a football academy? An academy, and here is where we go wrong. An academy is a facility whose long-term objective is to provide education and nurture training over a long-term period. So there is long-term objective. It's not just an objective, long-term. And then there's education and long-term training. You did ask, why do countries like Senegal, win, and Kenya, we are struggling. We have this tendency when we have the AFCON, let's say the under 17 or the under 20, the AFCON is in 2 months, and then people are being called in camp in a month's time. how do you want to compete?
Actually, they do 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. So how do you want to compete with someone who was born inside an academy, who trains every day in an academy, and they have this team cohesion? You cannot even blame the coaches. You cannot blame the players. We can only blame our system. And the system is not an individual. The system is us as a collective, us as a nation. So if we do understand, because nowadays you will find anybody opening a facility, they have a land, and they'll call it an academy. People perish due to lack of knowledge. One question for me was also, do I look for all ages, or do I have a specific age? Let's understand what is a player education. The training of a player, according to FIFA, takes place between the ages of 12 and 23. And that's why there are things called transfer training compensation, etc., etc. So they do understand that your education takes place from 12 to 23, your training, unless you have terminated it earlier. There's a player like Lamine Yamal, is like 18 years, but he performs better in the first team. So a player like that, you can't say is still under education. But we still have other players like Aldrin Kibet. How old is he, if I may ask? 20s?
19 now.
19. He is not yet in his top level. So we can say he's still being educated. Yeah? And if you ask me if I look for ages, here is where I'll go back to the point of rogue agents. Here is where many people fall victims, yeah? Because for me as an agent, I have been authorized to represent adults and minors. For you to represent a minor, you do have to, to have an extra certification. You do have to have done an extra course. So it's better for us to understand also the law, for us to understand the education. If we can instill education in our parents, I believe our talent pipeline will be great. I've interacted with some of the academy coaches here, and you will find that they always complain, even as the parents, yeah? The children go there, they maybe play, they play passes and they go home, and then the children will complain, hey mom, hey dad, in that academy we are not training because we just passed the ball, we didn't play 90 minutes, we didn't, and then the parent is now mad and they take the player away, they take them to another academy. One thing we have to understand is this: in low-level competitions, we compete to train, and in high-level competitions, we train to compete. So when these young children are here, let them enjoy the game. Not everybody will make it professional. You as a parent, don't focus on the results. Focus on what is this child becoming. There are levels to training. They don't go there and they start understanding the game. They first have to go there and understand what is a ball, what is, and it's just understanding the ball is not around leather. It can take 1 year for a child to understand what is a ball. And if, as a parent, let's say this, you've taken your child to an academy, and they always call it under 13, under 17s, under this and that. Understand also there's something called the relative age effect. Just because your child is not performing better at a certain level, it does not mean that is now the future. Because with the relative age effect, it means some players have advantages because they have been born in the earlier times of the year, and the others have been born in the late times of the year. For example, a player who is born in January 1st, 2008 is 12 months older compared to a player who is born like 31st January 2008. These players are both 13 years. Like how old? 2282 now is how old? Let me just say 13 years, for example. But one is 12 months older than the other. So you'll find that the player who was born on January 1st might be performing better in this level, has a physical advantage, has everything. But that does not mean that this young player, the one who was born on 31st December 2008, is not a good player. So we have to look at the potential of the player, and that's what we as agents look at. And also, don't fall for rogue agents. Do not fall for that. Many people nowadays will find
Kevin Dadise asked a question on the same in terms of scouting.
Oh, okay.
When you're scouting, we are focused on scouting these players for the outside market. Why are we not scouting for internal use? So that I scout this player with an aim of taking him to Nairobi United, for example?
It's now a self-criticism. Do you want to take your... I'm not trying to be, but let me just ask a question. Do you want to go to the top or to go this way? Everybody wants to go to the top.
To the top, but through a certain path.
Through a certain pathway.
Because
and where are we now?
For example, Nairobi United have signed a player who I believe would have been, we called him the next Dennis Oliech. And this is Omala. Omala at Form 3 and Form 4 was doing the work of 22, 23-year-old strikers. Powerful shots, powerful runs, has gas from here to Timbuktu and back. But the moment Omala left school, he has been to so many clubs and not been to those clubs, if you know what I mean. Because he gets to that club and he barely starts playing before he's back here. In the last 18 months, he's been to 4 clubs and not in Kenya. So that's why we're saying, yes, we want to go up, but instead of going straight up, can we use a path? Let's not go straight up, but use a path that will develop these players as they grow.
And that brings us back to our system then. How many scouts do we have? Professional scouts. Not my uncle knows a person in Nairobi United. How many? How many do we have? Professional.
It's
even licensed agents. Yeah.
Every other federation looks at Mike Okinya and says, Mike, unaweza kuwa agent, wacha nikupatie license.
Now, that is
the next regime comes and says, Mike, where hata ujui ball, license is taken away. Yes, that's the system.
So you see, the system is the only problem, because for me as a person, to be honest, if I see you are a good player, I will take you where there's a better opportunity. And that is the dream of every player. For example, you've said this player has been to 4 clubs in 18 months.
In 18 months, yes.
Do they have a player representative or their agent? Do they have one?
Yes, there is one, because they don't go on their own.
Licensed?
We are not sure.
Probably not.
Tutauliza Tea akikuja kwa the next session, anaweza kuwa anajua.
Okay, maybe yes or maybe not.
Yes.
So you can see, for me as a person, just from listening to the story, I can tell that the problem is not even this player. The problem is how the player is being represented.
Yes.
Because if a player is talented, trust you me, it's like in the jungle. There's the lion, there's the cheetah, there's everything. Whoever comes first will win. Exactly. But the player has the authority to decide, I want to go
this
here.
This is the path that I go.
Yes.
Okay,
so
I need to cut you short, sorry, because we have a couple of questions we need to tackle before we get to the next session, and there are a lot of burning questions that were sent to Enos. Enos, maswali yako nayakumbuka? Yes. Ya kwanza uliulizwa, Dadise ndiye alikuuliza.
Nazikumbuka.
Itakuwa ni Madimples akitoka team itakuwa bado.
Asante sana. Before I answer that question, and this will actually be an answer to Dadise's question.
Yes.
I want to invite all of us on Sunday. We have a very big match, Nairobi United versus Azam FC, Confederation Cup at Nyayo Stadium starting at 4 p.m. I hear there are so many academies here. All academies, you are invited, and your attendance will be free. And then I will also be speaking to Okuto that all the teams that will be participating in the finals, we can also make arrangements that you can attend the match for free on Sunday. So please, you are all welcome so that we cheer our team. As I answer that question from Dadise, yes, the team is owned by Sakaja Foundation, but we are putting in place mechanisms and strategies to make sure that the team stays afloat and remains sustainable beyond Sakaja's term in his office. And one of these strategies is that we want to play Africa, because we've discovered that there's money in Africa. When you play Champions League, when you play Confederation Cup, for instance, if I just give you a synopsis, as we are now, we have money that can sustain us for the entire league, just money that we have earned from the Confederation Cup progress that we have made. And so those are some of the strategies that we want to put in place. I've said that we are working on having a sports complex so that we are not continuing with this problem of hiring grounds on a daily basis. We want to have our own sports complex so that we have strategies and means to sustain this team beyond Governor Sakaja's term in office. And then there's a question that had been asked by Nicholas. How do we make sure that our players, that there's a social net to help these players to have a sustainable life beyond playing time? This has been a huge problem that we have in this country. Before I joined Nairobi United, I used to be with AFC Leopards. And if I give you an example today, we have over 10,000 active players in the country as we speak. Over 10,000 active. So if you start now computing those who have now retired, there are so many. And one thing that I usually tell myself is, before we ask this question, John F. Kennedy said, think of what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. And therefore, as a player, when you are playing, I think it's Matthew who talked about financial literacy. Let's be educated. Let's have something on the side going. Let's also have the habit of saving our income so that isikuwe tu ni pesa unapata unaenda kula mandazi, so that you know that your future is secured. And then
last one, Amos? Enos?
Yes.
As the last one, that will be the last one, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Our friend of the North, I can't recall his name, he talked of a player called Tarbo that had been identified and tagged to Nairobi United pages. We are sorry we didn't, maybe we have been busy with the international assignments that we didn't get to hear that. Please get in touch with us. We will place that player in our youth team so that we look at his progress in terms of development and be able to, if he's a good player, be able to sign him through our system.
Amos, umepata hiyo? Kabisa. Tag them again tonight. Hata si kesho. Leo. I want to finish with the questions that were sent to me. Albert Wesonga. Kwa nini tunaanza na Inters? Ukiingia hapo unaanza na Manchester United walipigwa, ama ni Real Madrid walilimwa. And guess what? It's what you ask for. A good example. There's a day we had a derby. Gor versus AFC Leopards last season. Na derby inachezwa Nyayo. And on the same day, there was, I think, the Manchester derby. Right across, kuche kumeja. With people in Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards jerseys, but watching what? Man U versus Arsenal. And it's just, I wish I could give you the back end of the messages that we get. And it is the culture that we are trying to suppress. We can't kill it. We agree that we cannot compete with the English Premier League because there's so much resources put in there. There's a lot of money put in there. We can only learn from that. And that is why we would cover tournaments like 82 Sports and give these players an opportunity to be seen on a Monday afternoon when everybody else is either kwa mkahawa, ameenda bank, ama ameenda kuvisit mtu hospitalini. It's what we used to call dead airtime. We use it to promote these teams that otherwise would not have that opportunity. So we give you what you ask for as the audience. When the audience says EPL is king, we have no choice but to give you EPL as king. But we try and marry it. Try and watch from today. Anytime there's that EPL, there'll be something local preceding that EPL game. We'll put something local before the EPL game, especially when we do the daytime bulletins. So it's something that you ask for. Somebody else asked, do we have coaches for the youth teams? How is the Harambee Stars selected? I think our agent touched on that, in that we have a big problem. One of the secrets that we can talk openly now because it's a forum for football and we are reminiscing on everything else. The reason why Nairobi United beat Gor Mahia in the final of FKF Cup even last season was because Gor Mahia's lineup, for example, was changed 3 times in the toilet. Barangapi? tatu. Whereas Nairobi United were focused on, we have trained, these are the players who are going to start, we are playing a big team, we are playing Gor Mahia, we have to be at our best, their fans watajaza kiwanja, everything else. Gor Mahia were busy, coach akona lineup ya kwanza, this set of players come and say hapana, hawa hawezi anza, hawa lazima waanze. Then the second set of players know, oh, mtu wetu wamekatwa kwa hii team, hao pia wanakuja na ingine. So every other time, a coach or an assistant coach or the TM is being pulled to the toilet to be told, hii ndio lineup ile iko hapo. And then the worst bit, I will finish with the last bit. What happened? The last person who came to give their opinion said, Juogi imekataa huyu na huyu mchezaji waezi anza. So by the time Gor get to that pitch, they are so disoriented, they could not focus on that game. But kudos to Nairobi United. They won that game, fair and square, 2 beautiful goals they scored, but these are factors that were there. So to answer your question, yes, we have coaches, but the way the selection is done is a big problem. That is why we normally say, you want to win the league in Kenya, not with a local coach. The last local coach to win the local league was the Lion, Matano. And why is he called the Lion? Because he does not take any crap from anyone. Atakuja kuambie ni hivi na ni hivyo na asonge. The foreign coaches will come, hajui mchezaji, hajui ule mchezaji, hajui mchezaji. So Nairobi, mnataka kushinda league, tafuta foreign coach. So I want to say thank you very much to this panel. For now, we still have another panel that we have to take through in the next 20 minutes, up to and including questions. Then we close off with the draw, tujue nani anacheza na nani. And remember, whoever wins, Monday tarehe 2, tuko live kwa Kideo. Au sio?
There is an announcement that I had forgotten. To just show appreciation to the tournament because I've known it for a long time. The patron, my friend, my guy there, we have decided through a contact of mine that the best player of the tournament, through objective performance index, of course, through the data, will travel to Real Madrid, full sponsored to watch a game, to experience the Bernabeu. And we are also expecting a certain invitation from Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt?
Eintracht Frankfurt.
Yes. We're expecting a certain invitation, and I'll try to also organize that we also have a second player just travel there to understand how it is, to work in a top academy, or one of the technical coaches of the best performing team in this tournament will also have a chance to go there. That's something that we'll work on, and to just show the appreciation to the grassroots tournament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And whoever wins that chance, just know that when you're going to the Santiago Bernabeu, it is a walking distance to the Kenyan embassy. Unaweza kula sembe hapo na uingie stadi uende watch game hapo. Asanteni sana.
Let's appreciate the first panel. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. Tuwapigie makofi wakitoka tena. Asante. And now, without wasting time, we move directly to our second panel session. And our first person on the panel is none other than Dismas Oridi, who is a representative at 82 Sports. Beginning makofi, Dismas akipanda juu ya stage. Secondly, famously known for Toa Table, FC Leopards fan, also a sports journalist. Tafadhali pigeni Mr. Kevin Tea, aka Fabrizio wa Kenya, makofi. Mpigeni Mr. Kevin Tea makofi. The winning coach of the first edition of 82 Ultimate Cup, and also a sports enthusiast, fan of Gor Mahia. Wapi makofi ya Coach Dadise from Mashimoni All Stars. And last but not least, we have Corporal Boniface Mushiri. Pigeni millionaire makofi tafadhali. He represents Ulinzi Stars as the captain. A round of applause to our panel tafadhali. Just get your questions ready. Asante.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here. I think I will start with Dadise. And unasema una support teams mtaa sana, and that is a good one. I think I have gone through so many tournaments. Ukianza na Kiko Cup, tulikuwa tunacheza, tukaenda Kothbiro, tukatoka Kothbiro, tukaingia ingine ilikuwa inaitwa Ile ya 1000 Street walikuwa wanashinda sana than Kotubiro, inaitwa nini? Umeme Cup, that's what I was looking for. So there are a lot of these tournaments, grassroots tournaments that are there. And I would ask you, because I see you in the stadium every other time that we have a big KPL match or not big match, but the crowds that go to watch KPL, even when the game is free, are not the same ones as the ones that go to watch grassroots football. What is in that grassroots football that is not in the KPL?
Thank you for that. I think first is the touch and relationship that the fans have with these kind of players. So it'd be very easy for me to go watch Mashimoni All Stars play because of the relationship that I have either with the players or with the community around. Yeah, whereas for the KPL, you find that guys usually prefer other teams to others. So also the issue of distance. If a game is at Kasarani and someone has to come all the way from Kawangware, sometimes the guys who come from these communities, they work they work almost every other day of the week. You find that sometimes the challenge is availability, and then also guys having to part away with the ticket fees, the transportation, and every other thing. Yeah, I think that's what I can say about that.
Mushiri, millionaire, this is a question to you. Labda utuambie, wewe najua ulijengea Madhi. But I don't know if you know that squad ya Chan wanaitwa Puaneas saa hii. Because nasikia wengine wenyu mlihama home mkaenda kwa Airbnb wiki mbili, hamkuonekana. So anyway, that's on a light touch. Let's get to this grassroots football, and especially the tournaments. Whether it's on season or off season, there is always, and Kevin Teya would attest to this, we always get stories of mchezaji wa KPL, alikuwa na game weekend, lakini Tuesday, alikuwa anacheza grassroots. Ni nini huwavuta huko sana mnarudi kucheza grassroots?
Kwanza naweza sema I think ni lack of unprofessionalism from the player. That's where unapata mchezaji amekuwa na game weekend, anaenda kucheza hizo game za mashinani, the following day anapata injury. Ukipata injury, you'll have to forge and come up with the stories. So sometimes you see like the clubs wana tend to terminate contract ya mchezaji because amego against the rule na contract ya club. So I think it is venye nimesema ni lack of being unprofessional to your work. Yeah.
But swali yangu ni naelewa it's very unprofessional for a player, professional player in KPL. Unalipwa kucheza ball peke yake, umeenda kucheza hizo tona. Tuachie wengine wacheze, but ni nini inawavuta huko? Because would we say it's money? Because the big money is in KPL. So what takes them back there?
Neza kama hii tournament imekuwa Kakamega, ni mwanamchezaji mmoja anaitwa Kamura. Amekuwa akicheza ni, so I believe pia ni pesa yenye inawekwa kwa hizo tournaments. So unapata alikuwa anasema mimi nacheza tournament na nashinda napata 2 million. Wewe unacheza season mzima, labda league haina hiyo prize money. So kuna difference kubwa kati hizi tournaments na ligi, na pia unapata hizo tournaments mafans ni wengi, and there's no joy like playing when the fans are supporting you. Inakuwa ni joy kubwa. So hiyo ndio challenge kubwa yenye sisi tuko nayo KPL. Pia sasa tuna face lack of fans kuja kwa uwanja, na ukienda hata tournaments za shule mafans wamejaa kabisa. So I think hiyo pia ni kitu yenye inavutia some of the players huko chini.
Dismas, third year, it means there's something you're doing that is right, because for the third year the tournament is on and we've seen the crowds that are there, especially in the finals. When you do the regional finals now, like what we'll have on the 31st and the 1st, there's a lot of easy team zinakuja na mafans. So it means there's something that you're doing right. From your experience, what is making grassroots football more attractive than mainstream football that is KPL and NSL? Nini navuta watu hapo sana?
Okay, I think 82 Sports tournament ndio nimeona ndio tuna iko na mafanu wengi sana, because inachezwa mtaani, na ukiona zile teams zenye zimemake it to the last 8 ni zile team zinajulikana mtaani, ziko na fan base. Okay, unapata sasa kama uko nini Embakasi edition, tulikuwa na vision, tulikuwa na nini, tulikuwa na creative hands. Una imagine hizo timu mbili ziko na mafano wanatoshanaje? Ukienda huko Githu unapata manze ile design 82 Sports ina run tournament enye ina sell because unaona unapata Tona iko na ambulance venye CEO amesema, unapata manze iko na marefaria kina D, unapata manze commentators wanakam, as in unapata tu manze Tona iko hyped. Na I think hata unapata kila mtu anataka tu kuwa associated na 82 Sports.
Tea, two teams nimeona mkiandika sana, hata mimi nimezikava. And these teams fame yao iko kwa grassroots football. Kuna team inaitwa South Sea Rangers, wengine wanaitwa Githurai All Stars, wanafuatwa na mafan wao kila mara. From your experience of covering these teams, what makes their stories very interesting?
I think for any tournament, the eyeballs is the most important thing. When I go to cover South B, kuna fans, and that's always good for the camera. I do not want to go and cover a tournament where fans, they're accountable, for example, which is so much common with KPL games, for example. If I roll my camera and I'm capturing a crowd, a jubilant crowd, a crowd that's backing their team, whether they are winning or they're trailing, that's definitely good for the graphics, good for my job. So basically, I think for grassroots tournaments, the major thing is the fan bases, how big the crowd is, how passionate, and how they are pushing their teams from start to finish. So majorly for these teams, it's just the fan bases that is attractive to the camera, or for them to get the coverage.
Dadise, as a coach as well, would you say then it's the crowd that makes these players shine at that particular level, or is this just raw talent that has not been tapped into these other teams that are playing at a higher level?
I think both, because like Mushiri said, having played football before, I think there is a lot of joy playing around where there are a lot of fans. Like we usually say, tukiwa mtaani, you never know who is watching. So as much as they are raw, there are those players who look at it as an opportunity to get scouted, for example, or as an opportunity to like take their talent to the next level. Like Mashimoni, when we last played the tournament, we had almost 6 players who left the lower leagues that they were playing in. We had like 3 straight to the KPL from Division 1, and then I think like other 4 to the NSL. The rest like left like the regional leagues to the Div 1s. So I think both apply to such cases. Yeah.
Mushiri, we always say that every big player has got a story that started at the grassroots level. Tumeona kina Victor walianza country bus to where they are. For you, what's the story? Where did you start in terms of grassroots? Na hiyo imekusaidiaje mpaka mahali umefika sahi?
Kwanza football lazima mahali umeanza kukuwe na watu wenye wanakumenta. They show you the way, and as a player, venye agent amekuwa anasema, first it starts with the player. What do you want? What do you do? Na unataka kufika wapi? So for me, I was lucky enough, nilipata watu wenye walinionyesha njia. Na kunionyesha njia ni kusema, without talent alone haitakupeleka mahali. You need to do something extra so that it add with your talent, itakufanya kuwe a great person. So that's why unapata mchezaji ana go to the gym after training ya coach, ana do extra training, unaenda kwa field, unapiga hizo set piece, kuja kwa game watu wanaona ni kitu kawaida, ni rahisi tu, but umespend years training the same thing. So inakuja kwa game inakuwa ni kitu automatic tu, so inakuwa ni rahisi hivyo. But the most important thing pia na challenge kubwa ni kumaintain, kufanya the same thing. It is hard and very difficult mchezaji kutaka kufika at the top level because ya challenges hapa katikati. Timu zetu za Kenya hazilipi vizuri. Utapata mchezaji mzuri ana end up ku give up because akona responsibilities mingi za kufanya huko nyuma. So lazima mtu akuwe na watu wenye wanamsupport, the family wakuwa na msupport, akuwe na true friends wenye wanamwambia the right things to do, because si watu wote wanakutakia. Na pia kwa team mnaweza kuwa mnacheza position moja na mtu na anataka tu fail, but if you have the correct teammates, like for mimi nasemaga nilikuwa very lucky. Nilienda Tusker nikapata Humphrey Mieno, James Situma, Alan Wanga. At that moment nilikuwa mtoi sana, ndio nimetoka Sony, sijui Nairobi, sijui anything, but wakanieka laini, ishi hapa, gym ndio hii, uwanja ndio hii, ukitoka hapa after mazoezi ya 5 kama do your things, and nika grow from there. So lazima kuwe na watu wenye wanakuguide pia.
So Sony kule, ukitoka Sony ndio ujoin Sony.
Yes.
Ulicheza grassroots huko?
Yeah, nilicheza shule peke yake. So after shule Kibabii Boys, Sony wakakuja, not Sony, Nzoia wakakuja friendly na nika impress Nzoia wakanichukua. So tukaenda kucheza na Tusker, that time ilikuwa inaitwa GoTV Cup in Kisumu.
Yes.
So game yetu ndio ilikuwa ya pili. Sony walianza kucheza na Western Stima. So after Sony ndio sisi tukaingia. So Sony wakakuwa impressed na performance, ndio nikasainiwa from Nzoia to Sony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dismas, tumesikia hizi stories za grassroots ndio kuna ball basically, and I also enjoy going to watch hizo grassroots tournaments. Utaenda pale utasikia stories za mtaa, unaambiwa story ya players, something that you will not hear at KPL. So what culture can we take, especially from the 82 Ultimate Cup? What culture can we take from there that we can lend it to NSL and KPL to ambia jama, if you take this as an example from 82 Sport, then we'll have an improvement of the KPL in terms of even attendance, your fans?
Okay, I think 82 Sports kwa hizi region 8 zimeenda. I think kuna video umeona hapa hivi, ulikuwa unapata wasao wanauza miwa, manini. Unapata 82 ikienda kwa region fulani, unapata kuna imeempower se kadhaa. Unapata community imekuwa empowered, unapata players wamekuwa empowered, na bado unapata mafans maybe wamepromote jamaa wanauza miwa, kahawa, nini. Unapata ni aje, apart from hiyo tona tumecheza, kila mtu amekuwa engaged na kila mtu amekuwa empowered. So I think pia hiyo media technology 82 Sports iko juu, na pia mateam pia zio appreciate akina Leeds hapa Toronto. Utapata ni aje after game wanapata zile as in 82 imecover hiyo tona fiti, na pia social platforms zao unapata ziko active through hiyo nini ya 82 Sports.
That's so true, because me ufuata hizo reels new tengeneza. That's how I get to know what's happening in the 82 Sports. So finally, Tea, what takes, because unakava wachezaji, unasema mchezaji alitoka hapa, alichukuliwa kutoka kwa Itona, maybe amechukuliwa kutoka 82 Sport, amekuja sign for FC direct, amecheza, but after some time, once this player drops from that team, ama form yake imeshuka ama amedropiwa, first port of call anarudi kule alianza. Utampata amerudi tu pale 1000 Street kucheza hapo. What takes them back there? Because you interact with these players. Ni nini inarudishaga mchezaji pale?
I think it's just a human thing in that when things go south penye huko, hata Nairobi kiwa ngumu mtu urudi home. So I think it's always mtu anajua nilijiestablish at Lirembe Arsenal for example. Nimekuja Tusker imechacha, nimeenda Posta on loan, imekuwa ngumu, acha nirudi huko, then I'll reestablish myself. Nasa ni kujikubali. I think the best is ni ile design ya umejikubali kuwa vitu imeharibika. Let me go and reestablish myself. There's a player Kakamega Homeboyz is about to sign this window who had gone off the radar. That's Piston Mutamba. Alienda akacheza tournament last December. We know the tournament Kakamega. They have spotted him. They think he can do something, and they are signing him. So basically, I think it's going back to your roots. It's accepting that things have gone south, or they have not gone as you had planned or envisioned, and you're now going to try and rediscover yourself. And kwa wale wenye wanajikubalingi, unajua kuna wenye wanajikubali na kuna wenye wanakataa. Wale wenye wanajikubali find their way back. wale wenye bado wana live in denial that hey, nilikuwa top player KPL, nilikuwa MVP, hapa ni wapi nimekuja, maybe they end up disappearing into oblivion. So for me, I think my answer to that is that it's always ni hiyo human aspect ya kusema if things don't work out there, let me go back to where I started. Let me go back home and try to find my way back to the top, and hopefully this time I'll stay at the top.
Okay. Do you have any questions from the floor? We can take 3. Tuweza chukua 3. Because of time, we'll take 3. Just put the hands up ndio Balo waone vizuri. Balo, because of time, let's just take 3.
Habari ya jioni. So my name is Eric Mata. I play the Premier League, but now I'm at 1,000. Kuna siku tulimate pale kwa Citizen after kwa thibiro fulani.
Nakukumbuka vizuri sana Mata. Karibu nikuulize umepotea wapi.
Safi. So mi sahi niko kwa shughuli ya grassroots kabisa. Kwa ile shughuli yetu ya 1,000 ilikuwa ni 1,000 street. But sahi tumekuja tumeifanya imekuwa 1,000 sportive, so we're trying to maybe to pass the mantle to the next generation. So mi yangu ni kidogo input just for like 2 minutes. Input kidogo. So mi hiyo swali umuuliza kwanza, mbona ma players kwa grassroots kuna ball sahi kwa grassroots ni vibrant kushinda kwa top level. Mostly mi nafikiri unapata ama players wana interact. Piga hesabu how many players from the grassroots wanna play KPL ni kidogo sana, but like all of the players in the grassroots wanacheza grassroots, so unapata watu wao wa home wanakuja kusupport hapo. So imagine kukuja kuwa na mtu unajua, ndio unapata every time unapata kuna game utapata hakuna fans KPL, but kwa grassroots unapata wewe na familia yako yote na mabeste wako wa base na wote wanakuja kuwatch, wanakuja kusupport. Alafu wewe kama player, what happens is that ukiona hapo uweze ukawa let down. Maybe another input kidogo ni kwa piga hesabu Mike, kwa grassroots sahi nothing is going on ni important, especially in terms ya management. Of course najua maybe new office may come into place. Nimeka kwa hata during my playing days in the top level nimeshinda bado nikijaribu. Sasa tuko na 8 years nimeshinda nikiona what's going on. So unapata huku chini grassroots ni very very expensive. Sielewi. Grassroots ni expensive in terms ya ku manage, in terms ya ku make sure maybe una develop players, team yako inatoka from one level to the next. So unapata most of the teams zinaanzia vizuri, si kama sisi tulianzia sub county the lowest. Sasa tumesonga tuko at least division 2, call it 4th tier maybe. So unapata na hiyo struggle yote umetoa team hapa imeenda hapa, unapata every time ku manage team si rahisi. Utapata kwa nini mimi nashanga sana, kwa nini grassroots ikuwe expensive ati for you to play a Div 2 match you have to pay like 5,000 to the refs, you have to travel maybe to say to Oshago mali utumie fare 30k. Kumbuka ni timu ya mtaa, ma players hoja nini hapo. So maybe mimi nilikuwa na kitu kama overview ya maybe this is the last thing maybe kwa 82 nimeona 82 wana sponsor. Kuna team inaitwa Jamhuri wana sponsor na which is very good. Maze ukipata kwa grassroots mtu anakusponsor ni something poor. So kitu nasema ni hivi, what if is just a hypothetical from my view. Piga hesabu ukikuwa na organization kama 82, of course kuweka tournament watu wanakuja wanangangania from the zinaitwa hizo za mtaa, the editions alafu sasa ni ultimate. Of course sasa ni ultimate hapa. Piga hesabu sasa hii kochare pale umeniambia uli win the first edition, congratulations, but piga hesabu sasa unaweza angalia maybe next edition uku participate ama uli participate na uku ufika ultimate the third ukufika. So me to 82 ni kitu naweza suggest ni from where I sit, from what I've seen over the years, for what I've seen through playing, naweza sema ati 82 maybe creatively, my own opinion of course, just saying as it is. So maybe na feel kama 82 wangekam na way ya partnering with the teams. For example, if a team wameshinda zone, wameweza tu qualify for the ultimate every season. Maybe mnaweza do nao hata kama ni partnership tu, si hata lazima tikue ni kama ati something very big. So for example, kama hii time Shofco 1000, Mathare North, every other teams ni only 8 teams. Ukisema of course Shofco anacheza Division 2, 1000 anacheza Division 2, maybe Mathare North anacheza I don't know Division 2 or regional. So something like just do a simple budget. For example, venye team kama competition kama Champions League, the more unaenda up the levels, the more una get something better. To just to kuonesha umewakadu kushinda wengine. So maybe kitu inaweza happen ni ati for the ultimates every season, but maybe for every season maybe unapata wakiqualify tu for like the 8 teams, just do a budget yenye hata basi for each season na make partnership. Si lazima ikuwe official sponsorship, but design yenye hata kama tu ni play for green spaces hapa kwa Jazi, then maybe itasaidia hizo matimu kuweza move forward. Otherwise, thank you for the chance. Safi.
Eric Mata, one of the few players najua alichukulia masomo serious. Ni msomi?
Evening. My name is Edwin Hamisi of FC Creative Arts. My question goes to the management of the tournament. I think when I was watching the clip that you are playing when you started the meeting, I think I noticed, if not one of the, maybe not the worst grounds, but compared to the structures made to the other fields, then Mukuru kwa Ruben remains to be one of the fields in terms of establishment, haijakuwa well done. I know that responsibility goes back to our community level of leadership, but in terms of the long-term goal and maybe we have had tournaments being played from Mukuru kwa Ruben, my request would be to you would be, in future, we intend to also bring the 4th edition, maybe to be played in our same ground. Looking at the status of the ground and the current situation, maybe in future it won't allow us even to play, because at some point, even our league matches have been called off because the ground does not meet the FKF standards. So my question to you would be, is there a plan, maybe comparing to the grounds that you have been held in the tournaments, Mukuru itabaki ikiwa nyuma kidogo. Do we have any plans, or a request to you would be, can we consider even bring Maram to that field so that it also be able to support the teams who are playing from that field?
Habari ya jioni. Mimi naitwa Kaka Zema, mtangazaji wa soka. Swali langu ni kwa Mushiri. Ukiwa kama professional footballer, tukikuangalia sasa hivi unaishi maisha matatu. Mushiri yule wa mtoto mama Nyamu, Mushiri the afande, na Mushiri mchezaji wa Ulinzi Stars. How do you juggle maisha yako kwa hawa Mushiri watatu? Ndio ni swali langu la kwanza. Swali la pili, kuna cases nyingi sana za indiscipline kwa wachezaji. Tushawaisikia kuna baadhi ya wachezaji contract zinakuwa terminated because amechelewa kuja mazoezi, ama alikuja mazoezini akiwa ni mlevi, ama labda amepotea tu, amepiga misa hajulikani alipo. Kama a professional footballer, unaweza waambiaje wachezaji ambao sasa hivi wanakuangalia wewe kama role model wao? Ni hivyo.
Asante. First ni kudos to 82 Sports for a well-thought tournament here grassroots. One of the benefits nimesikia kuhusu grassroots football, crowd ama fans very good, prize money iko juu 1 million, but the best of the best nimesikia from Dismas Orindi is that when the tournament is played at the grassroots level, the small businesses zina thrive. So that is very good. So if it has to be done, and there comes my question, it is grassroots. Why police circle for the finals? Why not again kwa grassroots level even for the finals? So langu la pili ni testimony maybe kwa coach wa Mashimoni. You are the one who won the first edition. What testimony do you have for winning. Nini mlifanya na 1 million? I think that will sell more rather than just the crown of you are a champion. Maybe if you tell us after winning 1 million, my community to develop a car wash that ina sustain vijana mpaka wa leo. That's a better story. Ya mwisho, we played a clip here from Mokuto for the first minutes. Now there's a statement, one of the fans walisema ati referee alikuwa anataka kutuibia tukampiga alafu tukashinda. Will this statement be good for grassroots football? Are we championing that we must win at all cost? That even if the referee ametuaramia, tunampiga ndio tushinde. So maybe to the organizers, hiyo clip maybe inatolewa hiyo part, because if somebody alikuwa anaisikia hawezi champion for your tournament because at the end of the day referee anapigwa. For me that is unsporting behavior. And what are the coaches doing? Maybe for 30th to 1st kunaweza kuwa na chaos. So what are the coaches wale watakuwa na hizo teams? What is their role to ensure that kutakuwa na safety ya these referees na other members of the public wakuja kushangilia hizi games?
I think maswali ni mingi. I will start with let's start with Mushiri. Mushiri, kuna hiyo Kakazema ameuliza Mushiri mtoto wa mami, Mushiri Afande, Mushiri Ulinzi Stars mchezaji na Harambee Stars. Una juggle vipi hizi kofia tatu?
First ni ujue kwanza, like I'm not the first, I'm the only soldier in the system. Second ni pia I'm not the only player kuchezea Ulinzi Stars. So ukisha realize hizo vitu, you just have to be humble, then you do things in the right way. Usiingize madharau, because ile yenye mimi nimepitia kuna wachezaji huko nyuma wamepitia. So I'm not that special like nianze kudharau watu ama kuanza vurugu. No, you just have to be humble and given the opportunity to play, umevaa hiyo jezi ya Ulinzi, I give my best. Wakisema enda hii side ingine, you put on the combat, unachukua item 1, you do the best pia hapo. So the most important thing is to be humble and kuomba God sana kupatie the opportunity to serve the country.
Dismas, maswali ambayo ziko zako ya kwanza, is there plans to make sure that mali wachezaji wanacheza, especially hicho kiwanja cha Mukuru, kiko better? And then swali la pili, mbona finali ikachezwa Ulinzi Sako na isirudi kule mashinani? Na swali la tatu, is it possible to remove that bit of the clip where fan anasema refa alitaka kutuibia lakini tulimkuta na tukashinda game?
Okay, I think easy edition tumecheza, sidhani kama kuna coach mwenye anaweza simama hapa hivi aseme amecheza kwa ile environment si conducive. Sijui kama kuna coach mwenye ashaisema anaweza sema tu ni aje. Kuna match yake manze alicheza kama yuko safe, ama kuna FIFA yote ashairefisha game kama yuko safe, because unaona hiyo part ya empowerment. Story za ma stewards unapatanga wako top because ni wase wa mtaa na wanajuana, ukweli uongo. Na unapata hata team kama Leeds, ndio Leeds ni kama Man City bedhe.
Dismas, ngoja kwanza. Umeingia kwa steward na tukua tumeenda huko.
Ndo najibu.
Maswali ni tatu.
Ndo najibu swali yake.
Gani unajibu?
Hiyo ya insecurity.
Hatujaongea story insecurity. Unauliza tu story ya hii clip. Mahali anasema tulipiga referee na tukaje.
Si ndio namjibu.
Tunatoa hiyo.
Ndio namjibu. Unaona, I think hiyo statement alishika vibaya. Walisema refa aliwalalia lakini wamechapa.
Hiyo timu nyingine.
Wamechapana. Kama cause nilikuwa hiyo game ilikuwa ni 1000 Sportive. Ilikuwa final yenu ya 1000 Sportive na mlikuwa mnacheza timu gani? Kaloleni Masa, si ndio? Masa, I think security ilikuwa top, si ndio? Na referee walikuwa safe. So siwezi sema hiyo kitu yenye ati amesema alimesikia hapo hivyo ili happen because tulikuwa ngapo hivyo na marefari walikuwa top, game ilikuwa fiti, hata mliwashinda lakini walitii, si ndio? Mafan hiyo derby but they actually ilikuwa one of the best derbies nishaicheki na hii ya Mathare na nini? Mathare na ilikuwa Dandora. Mlikuwa mcheza na?
Mathare walicheza na nani?
Kuna game yenye mlicheza na nini? Na Kayole Youth. Hiyo semis ilikuwa top sana. Lakini maplayer wenu mlikuwa ngawe, lakini maplayer wenu walikuwa safe, si ndio? So I think hiyo ndio kwenye nazambia Kochari. Hakuna kitu ile happen hapo.
Okay.
Na hiyo statement ni venye ameshika vibaya, lakini I think
it's good to clarify. So second question, mbona tuchezi mtaani tunapeleka game?
Okay, I think venye si wote tunajua matimu mob hapa hivi zina feel fiti sana kucheza 82 sports. Uko ili uongo? Toronto cause technology 82 sports iko juu, si ndio? Tunataka manze hii ultimate venye tu panelist alisema hapa hivi, anataka kutoa player hapa hivi ampeleke Banabu. Ma scouts watakam, si ndio?
Yes.
Players I think team managers wa hizi KPL watakuwa hapo hivyo, wataona players hapo, si ndio? Alafu najua pia kuna watu wenye grassroots au kucheza na hizi kuna partner wetu anaitwa IMG ucheza ngana hizi vest. Kuna player mwenye hajaicheza na hiyo Samo, si ndio? Najua hiyo inakuwa motivation yaje naweza fika hapa hivi. Ama aje? Na pia I think exposure. Sisi tunataka kuwapatia exposure. Kuna msee mwenye ashacheza tu grassroots. Venye tu Kochare amesema hapa. Hiyo ground yao si poa, si ndio? Lakini tukiwapeleka Police Sacco Stadium, watafeel manze environment ingine, at least watafeel changing room nini, unaona? Cause pale hivi mtaani unasikia Kochare anasema oya mafan pia fana anakuja anasema wewe kwanza unatuuza sijui nini. Unaona? Lakini tukiwapatia exposure kai utapata ni aje? Msee tunawa motivate.
Okay. Daddy say finally. Uliulizwa swali ya ile mita mlishinda.
Yeah.
Tupatie testimony. Tulikunywa mpaka saa ngapi?
Timu yetu ni ya vijana, I think average age yetu inacheza around 21. So ni wachezaji hawatumii any substance. So I think kwa ile cash walipata hakuna mwenye alikunywa. But in terms of the impact, kitu ya kwanza I think we are the first team around to run a business that it's strictly run by the players.
What business is that?
A laundry business. We bought like laundry machines. So pale mtaani, the players who come from Mashimoni, wale who form the core part of the team, they run their business hapo sai. It's atuko part of it sisi kama watu wanasimamia team.
Yes.
It's strictly run by the players, so they know how they do their expenses, their profits, all the revenue that comes from hapo. They know how they share that.
So capital ya kwanza hiyo biashara ilitoka hapo kwa ile the prize money.
Everything ilianzia hapo. Okay. Before that we never had anything as a team. Yeah, and then also from the same amount we were able to form a partnership. I can call it a partnership. Na I think Beast Jerseys, if you know.
Beast no joke.
Yes, so walitutengenezea replicas na from that money tuliweza kupata capital ya kuanzisha our own. So walitudesignia, tukalipia, we also paid for like stock or somehow. So as you request, unapata from that. Yeah.
Okay. Nasema shukran sana. Those are the stories that we want to hear. Testimonies that 82 Sport has done something to change the lives of our wachezaji. So, the next meter inafaa tujue nani ataishinda, and to do that, sini draw ifanywe sasa.
Kabisa.
Nashukuru sana panelists wangu. Wacha tuwapatie nafasi ya draw sasa.
Popo.
Tupige makofi wa kiketi. And also a round of applause to Michael Kinyi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Mike. Ningependa ukunywe maji kidogo before tufanye draw. I'd like us to cheza tu akitoa vitu. Tutacheza clip after. All right, so at this juncture, allow me to introduce Kibe to join me on stage. Pigeni Kibe makofi from 82 Sports. Na I hope penye mko mnaweza angalia to our left. To the left are the trophies that were won by the different teams in the different regions that the Ultimate Cup took place, the 82 Sports Cup took place. So right now, I'd like us to put our hands together for the coach and the representative of Jamhuri Soccer Academy from Starehe. Wapigeni makofi yakikuja juu. Coach and representative wa Jamhuri Soccer Academy, tafadhali. And wakikuja ukiona mbele yao kuna mrembo fulani amebeba some of the jerseys that they're going to use for the finals. So for the finals, Kibe, kindly present the Jamhuri Soccer Academy official jersey for the 82 Ultimate Cup. Let's put our hands together for JSA. That's the jersey they're going to use. Songa karibu wakupige picha. So congratulations to Jamhuri Soccer Academy from Starehe. Sawa sawa, asanteni sana. Thank you. Tuwapigie makofi wakirudi. We are going directly to Westlands region and let me introduce to you Leeds United. Wapigie Leeds makofi wakija on stage. This was amesema Leeds ndo Man City. Tupigie Man City makofi wakija. Tuwapigie makofi tafadhali. Hey, Kibe, the other side kwanza. That's official jersey for Leeds. Makofi. Thank you so much, Leeds. They're followed closely by the representatives from Kibra. So tupigie Shofco FC makofi as they get on stage. Shofco, coach na representative tafadhali. That's official kit for Shofco. Congratulations, Shofco. Thank you so much. Hiyo mnaenda nayo kwanza, tutachukua baadaye. All right, so we move to Dagoretti, Toronto FC. Tupigie Toronto FC makofi. Ndio Toronto FC. They'll be playing in pink. Congratulations, Toronto. Usionyeshe nyuma. Sawa.
The seventh team is 1,000 Sportif from Makadara, from 1,000 Street to now 1,000 Sportif. Wapige makofi. The only team with a lady representative from all the 8 teams. So that's official kit for 1,000 Sportif. And then last but not least, we have all the way from Kasarani to Pigia Tusker Youth, Makofi. Donning the yellow, official yellow. So wapi makofi ya Tusker. I want a representative abaki tafadhali. Chatubaki na one. So the rest of the teams just send your representative so that you can take one picture of all the jerseys. Mata, ndo ile pale. Thank you, Kibe. And now officially, ladies and gentlemen, these are the 8 teams that are going to take part in the final of the 82 Ultimate Cup. Tafadhali tuwapigie makofi. Congratulations to 1,000 Sportif, Mathare North, Shofco, Creative Hands, Leeds United, Jamhuri Soccer Academy, Tusker Youth, and Toronto FC. Asanteni sana. Thank you. All right, so we have the official jerseys. Right now, I'd like to welcome the president of the esports, Kenya. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ronnie Lusigi. He is the current president of the Esports Kenya Federation. So tumpigie makofi. He has a special announcement he'd like to give us. Pigeni Mr. Ronnie Lusigi makofi.
thank you Balo. Angewaambia vitu nilikuwa namfanyia Grao enzi yangu. My name is Ronnie Lusigi, and I'm happy to be here today as a friend of 82 Sports, because 82 Sports is also a good friend of Esports Kenya Federation. As Okuto has mentioned, we were with 82. They supported one of our players to Morocco just last week, and he was competing in an e-football tournament. At the moment, all sports federations are having their esports versions of competitions. For example, FIFA have the FIFA Esports World Cup that they do every year, where people compete on football video games. And that's because video games is also another way to enjoy football. It's also another way to build fandom. Today, a 5-year-old will be introduced to a sport in front of the screen. If he or she will be playing basketball on the father's phone, they are more likely to pick basketball when they join school. So it's a way to tap into emerging fandom. It's a way to tap into young people to choose your sport. And also it's just a way of enjoying football. So on that remark, we agreed with Okuto that during this tournament, we'll also put for fans an e-football tournament for those who are good kwa PlayStation. We'll be making the announcement on Monday. We'll have a prize and a competition for you so that you can also compete. So watu wanacheza FIFA, watu wanacheza e-football on 30th to 1st February. We'll also have a tournament for you, and we hope you enjoy it to the fullest. Na pia tutaweka kitu juu Okuto alisema ni January. Tutaweka kitu hapo kwa mfuko, but also just to encourage you, if you have here young people who play video games competitively, we are a federation that give these young people opportunity. Some of them are players, some of them are commentators. This year FIFA Club World Cup, one of the commentators called Brandon Smith hajaenda any school of journalism. Yeye amekuwa akicommentate games za futa za FIFA. Amekuwa tu in UK anaendanga tona za FIFA ana commentate, and it has landed him a job in the largest stage ya football. So ninge encourage all of you here, you have young people who play video games, tell them to check out Esports Kenya Federation. Now we will be here to give them opportunities to play, to earn, and also to learn other skills. It is also good watu wakicheza hizi video games in a communal setting, in a societal setting. Wasijifungie kwa nyumba. That's why we are here. So usimwache mtoi wako ama bro wako anacheza kwa nyumba peke yake. That's what inaleta vitu kama addiction and other things. So I encourage them to come to our tournaments. We also encourage teams, Nairobi United and other teams across the world like Arsenal and Barcelona. They have esports teams where at least 1 or 2 e-football players represent them, and it's a good way to engage with these young people. So wale watu who can play on 30th, let us meet, and hopefully tutakuwa na a good time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Presida. Funny calling you that. Anyway, right now, guided by the organization of 82 Sports, we'd like to do the official draw. Ndio at least watu wajue wanapatana na nani. This is a moment we've been waiting for, sindio? Hapo kwa meza gonga gonga, wanaitanga drum rolls. Hebu gonga gonga. Asante sana. This is the moment we've been waiting for. So Mike, tafadhali. Unaweza rudi juu kidogo. Let's appreciate Michael Kenya as he comes back to the stage.
Hai. Wapi mtungi? Mtungi kwa wapi? Mdosi nimemwona hapa saa hii tu. Anipea kazi ngumu. Amepotea wapi? Where's Mr. Gasheru? Yuko yard kweli? So, these are the teams zile ziko hapa. I will call different. Lusige, njoo nichukulie kwanza tafadhali. Njoo, tafadhali. So we'll draw the first team.
Get your pen and papers ready.
Yes. Koroga uchukue ile unataka. Open it up. Show it to the crowd. Which one is that? Tusker Youth, Kasarani. Tusker Youth, Kasarani. That's the first one. And Tusker Youth will play umeichukua tu hivyo. Which is okay. Tusker Youth will play Jamhuri SA from Starehe. So show them that's the
JSA
first game
versus Tusker Youth. Game
JSA
one.
versus Tusker Youth. Hold up. Nipatie hizo. Yes. So I want you to draw the next one. Pick the next one. Yoyote, random. This one is, just turn it around. Turn it. Leeds United from Westlands. Leeds United from Westlands will be playing Mathare North United from Ruaraka. Just hold it for them so that they can take photos. Just hold up. Closer. Be close to each other. Smart karibuni. Aha. Lusige pole pole wewe. Hapo tuko sawa? Okay, thank you. Give me those two. Aya. Next one. Lusige sawa. Wewe unaweza kupumzika. Who is our next model? Model next ako wapi? Aya, muite hapa kwa stage. Kaka Zema, njoo tafadhali. Kaka Zema anapiga moja ndefu. Signing fee. Aya, wapati intro basi ya finali.
Bila kutaja teams lakini dakika ni ya 19 ni bila uwanjani wa Polisi Sacco, finali ya makala ya 3 ya Ultimate Cup hapa. Kwa kweli inapendeza, kila mmoja yuko hapa kuhakikisha kwamba anataka kuwa mbabe. Inapigwa katikati ya uwanja, Geresha kifua pale, tuliza vizuri kabisa. Naangalia mbele nyuma, kuna mtu anaipiga cross moja majaru, goalkeeper anapanda juu ananyaka. Mwamuzi anasema tuendelee. Badri Yasin anasema ngoma ichezwe.
Ngoma itachezwa jamaa, ngoma itachezwa. Haya. Niokotee moja tafadhali. Waonyeshe. Toronto FC Dagoretti. Tulia hapo kaka Zema, waonyeshe. Tulia hapo tuone atacheza na nani. Stand next to that. Aha, Shofko Kibra. Toronto versus Shofko. Kali sana hiyo third quarter final. That's what we have. Nipe hizo. Okota tena. Tumalizie kazi, funge kazi. 1000 Sportif walikuwa naitwa 1000 Sportif. 1000 Street squeezing 1000 Sportif from Makadara. Watakuwa wanacheza na nani? Creative Hands Embakasi. Hapa kuna ngoma jamaa. Hapa kuna ndimu inapigwa kali sana. Kaka Zema, shukrani sana. Patie hizo. Quarter final ndio hizo. Bado tuambie.
Mike,
nani atafuata nani sasa?
So now
tuko na 4 quarter finalists.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And as it is,
yes.
So game 1 would be tumeona ni Tusker Youth versus Jamhuri Soccer.
Aha, Jamhuri Soccer versus Tusker Youth. That's the first quarter final match.
All right.
Mshindi hapo
game 1 anapatana na game 3.
Game 3 mnakumbuka alikuwa ni nani?
Toronto versus Shofko.
Toronto versus Shofko. Hiyo ndio itakuwa semifinali ya kwanza, sio?
Pili.
So that will be winner 1
versus
winner 3. Sio? Winner 3. So winner 1 versus winner 3. Winner 1 tukumbushe tena.
Winner 1 is between Jamhuri Soccer Academy and Tusker Youth.
Jamhuri Soccer Academy versus Tusker Youth, that is winner 1, will play winner 3, who is?
Toronto FC against Shofko FC.
Aha, tumemalizana na hapo. Kwa hivyo that means that winner 2, who is?
Winner 2 is between Mathare North United from Ruaraka, and Leeds United from Westlands.
Mathare North, Ruaraka, that is whoever wins in that quarterfinal 3 will play
Either 1,000 Sportif from Akadara or Creative Hands from Embakasi.
1,000 and Creative Arts. So that's the pairing. Whoever wins in those 2 semifinals, of course, they meet in the finals.
Yes.
Bado nimemaliza kazi yangu?
Tumemaliza.
Asante, shukran.
Asanteni sana, tupigie Michael Kinyi makofi tena. I hope tumeelewana hadi hapo. Special mention, one of the celebrated referees in Kenya is around and also is going to make sure that everything will be fine. Anajulikana kama D, Badiri Yasin ako hapo katikati. So D, unaweza simama ama wave ili wakuone. Asante, pigeni makofi. Anasemaga ukileta shida kwa kiwanja mpatane hapo. So we are all sure kila kitu itakuwa sawa. Hakutakuwa na shida. So right now we have seen these 8 trophies, right? Mnadhani winner pia atapata kama hii? Lazima ikuwe kubwa kidogo, si ndio? So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like us to focus because we want to bring to you the official trophy of the 3rd edition of the Ultimate Cup by 82 Sports. So drum rolls tena, drum rolls hapo penye mko, drum rolls. DJ. So nataka tupige makofi wakiingia tu all the way to the stage. Ni nyinyi mnashinda, so nataka mpige makofi kwanza ya kilo wakija. And to help us do that is none other than Miss Sustainable Beauty Noni. Sawa sawa DJ. And incoming is the Golden Glove. Let's appreciate the Golden Glove. And next is the MVP. Sante. So that's the goalkeepers. Next we have the Top Scorers Award and the Most Valuable Players Award. So pigeni makofi. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause as we bring to you the official trophy of the Ultimate Cup itself, brought to you by 82 Sports. Makofi, 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 makofi. Makofi, makofi, mpaka ifike mbele, makofi. Now, ladies, kindly let's get on stage. Let's bring Trophies to the stage now. Tupande juu tafadhali. Noni, kindly do the honors. Wapi makofi, ladies and gentlemen, tafadhali. That is the official trophy, the Ultimate Cup itself, for the finals of the 3rd edition. One of the things that pia sidhani mmeona but nataka kujua karibu ni we have some of the best medals around and you can feel the heaviness. So we also have the gold, the silver and the bronze for the 1st, 2nd and 3rd teams that will be participating in the tournaments. Let's appreciate that. Wapi makofi tafadhali. Ladies mnakaa poa, sitaki muende mbali sawa. So let me introduce Alan for the vote of thanks. Wakiwa tu hapa ndo mpige picha. At least Alan akiongea bado mnaona what you will win. Sawa. All right, mnaweza shuka tafadhali, asanteni.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Alan Korir and I'll be doing the vote of thanks today. I would like to sincerely thank everyone who's made this event and our journey possible. A special appreciation goes to our sponsors and partners. We have Smarch Foundation, IMG Communication, IMG Communication, and others including Kenya Forest Service, who have supplied us with trees the entire time. Your support and belief and commitment to youth sports and environmental conservation means a lot to us. You have not only supported an event, but a vision using sports to unite young people and protect our green spaces. To our teams at 82 Sport, every person that I know here, from the media to the medics, I wish I could name each and every one of them. We've gone down to all the mtars from Kawangware to Kibra and back. We've seen all the communities and we've touched them in one way or another. We've had fun and I appreciate each and every one of you for the bravery that you've put in and the work. On this day, I also want to thank our patron for also supporting us, and also, ladies and gentlemen, for you coming here and being with us as we do this unveiling and the draw. You're most welcome from the 30th to the 1st for the games. Come have fun, come watch games and support youth football. Thank you and have a good evening.
Watu wametuibia.
Mbona amewaibia? Amefanya nini?
Tumefunga akatuibia. Amelipwa. Na bado tumempiga. Lakini bado tumewin kama. Tukianza nilikwambia tutawin.
Timu ya Kamongo tunapiga na
mimi niko ona.
Sema.
Watu wametuibia.
Mbona amewaibia? Amefanya nini?
Tumefunga akatuibia. Amelipwa. Na bado tumempiga. Lakini bado tumewin kama. Tukianza nilikwambia tutawin.
Timu ya Kamongo tunapiga na
mimi niko ona.
Sema.
Watu wametuibia.
Mbona amewaibia? Amefanya nini?
Tumefunga akatuibia. Amelipwa. Na bado tumempiga. Lakini bado tumewin kama. Tukianza nilikwambia tutawin.